Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss the crypto market pullback amidst more tariff wars. We're going to talk about some additional companies following the Sailor playbook of Bitcoin acquisition and whether or not Ethereum has hit rock bottom in terms of sentiment, ETH-BTC ratio, all of the above. I've got Easy with me this morning. A little two-man action here, a little pick and roll.
What's up?
Today? How you doing?
Doing well, my friend. Doing well. I feel good, living better. The markets are shit. But hey, listen, I ran my meme coin bags down quite substantially yesterday, only to then run them back up. I hit on some bullshit. Some bullshit that ended up printing quite nicely for some like basically fake medical device coin. I think it was real. I don't know. It ran to like 1.5 mil. I was happy about it because I lost like 50. Dude, I've been trading like 4K market cap shitters. Like literal fucking garbage. Just purely because I want to keep clicking. Like I know it's a problem. It's getting to a point of an unhealthy behavior. But I'm doing something good for once. If I make $1,000, which I've been pretty consistently making, I stop trading. I stop clicking completely. It's been a good week.
I can't bring myself to trade right now in the meme coin market. Like I tried,
I'm having fun.
Like I pulled up Pump Fund. I tried. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it right now. There's just not enough action on like things that are like semi decent. I feel like the way you do it and the way you've been doing is like catching things like sub 100K and then like scalping 50%, scalping 2Xs, etc.
It's really aggressive stop losses and take profits. Like really aggressive.
I just pulled up Dex Screener, and your RFC coin that you exited is almost at 10 million pump this morning.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
I don't know what happened, but it just showed.
That's well over all-time high, huh? What? What happened?
I have no idea. But you sold this at 1 mil, right?
No. I made a lot on this one. I made 75 sold.
Yeah, that's how you crush on this. Your bag would have been
this thing went to 15 mil. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know.
My sells were all around 5 and 6 mil.
Yeah. Damn.
So like not terrible. I think. Let me double check because someone will be pocket watching to check. No, they're actually a little lower. Like 3.5 to 4 mil.
Yeah, so you saw Vine pop back. Muppets was a
that's interesting. Plan. The Vine stuff is interesting because of Musk tagged the page. That was the whole thesis. Remember I said Elon Musk continues to tag this page?
And
this is their official coin. But Vine got acquired officially by X and is now part of XAI.
Yeah, it looks like we had like a brief candle up to 50.
It got sold off into pretty damn hard.
Yeah, and then it's kind of still moving up. Yeah, like I'm just completely out of my element right now in the meme coin market. Like I just can't find bearing, and I'm basically just sitting on my hands because I tend to overtrade these sort of markets and just like hemorrhage capital. Does that make sense? Like everything I've been buying is basically been going to zero because I'm just holding it too long. I'm not like sitting here hyper trading, scalping, which I think you need to do in this market.
Yeah, you have to be on it, dude. Yeah, like you got to be on it.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of hyper trading, this episode is brought to you in partnership by one of our favorite products for trading, DYDX. They just announced their $5,000 SWE trading competition. It's started last week and it's running through April 9th. So basically what happens here is anybody who trades a SWE USD pair gets entered into this. If you're one of the top 10 users in realized P&L for SWE, you get $500, $5,000 split between the top 10. Top 10 highest traders will get an extra $500. So trading some SWE might make sense here. What's our account looking like, Easy? How's that perps account been trading? You're muted, by the way. You're still muted.
We were long Sol, so we ended up getting kind of beat up on that trade. Yeah, we thought it would push here. It didn't, which ended up rinsing us. I ended up cutting it right around here, which wasn't too bad. Like I was like, yeah, we may as well just get out of this, take a quick little profit move, and then just kind of reassess is what we do. And we ended up losing like 2 bandos on it. So that hurt. We were sitting at 7. We're down to like 46. If I were to trade, though, this SWE competition looks interesting, and we just got a very nice bounce off the trend line. We've had these lines these fibs for a little bit of time, and they seem to have held really well. So like if I'm trading this, I'd probably just be trading ranges. So like for example, we're here, technically made a new low. We're still above these two. I'd play for a rebound back to like 238. Personally, I'd be looking like right around here, this blue line, for a scalp long, and I would cut it probably like right around here on this breakdown at 215. So that's kind of how I'd be trading this right now in this little range that we got. And I'd try to just go long and short off these two areas over and over and over until it stops working. That's my mentality right now. I like these competitions though, because they did one with Barachain too, if you remember.
Yep.
They do some fun stuff. Dude, damn, this Barachain chart getting kicked in the teeth. So yeah, I would be looking to like take advantage of these trading competitions and find opportunity across the board for those. I've been seeing a lot of people show the XRP chart saying that there's no way it's going to hold over $2. And to be honest, I do agree. Like this is one chart I'd want to short back into the pennies range. Like get us back down here, dude. Yeah, this chart does not look good. Head and shoulders right here. 1, 2, 3. This should realistically boom, 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 sound like that going into the summer. But yeah, I'd be short XRP, long SWI, probably nothing on the majors right now. A scalp trade on SWI, long-term trade on XRP for the short.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, my concern with XRP, I guess it cuts both ways. Like when crypto is pumping, it's like the first thing to like lead, but maybe
yeah, that's fair.
Like are these like retail traders who are the ones buying and trading XRP? Are they selling? Are their hands weaker than some of these other coins? Like, are they going to bleed off harder during a market downturn? And are we going to see a market downturn?
Well, we're definitely going to see a market downturn. I showed this morning. This is the thing me and Nick were looking at. Was in 2018, Donald Trump did these same tariffs, but not same exact, but similar attack plan, right? So we got this 20% move here down in 2018 over 3 months. This was the move that we got for those tariffs. So I basically took this same move and extrapolated it for where we are now. We still got a lot of blood. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. We're about halfway through the time and halfway through the price action of where we probably end up for the S&P. And like people complain like the S&P, a bad indicator, it's a bad leader. This thing, even this trend line looks decent from this. So like I'm looking here for a sell down to like 485, which is even like kind of right in line here, 492. Could go a little bit lower, I guess, to like 482. But this area is where I'd be looking before like I really think we're out of the woods. Is like basically that whole range. That blue box. If you can get anywhere near that, that's where it's like load up the Brinks truck and let it work. Because I don't think the market's going to sell off more than that. But even getting down there, 100% we're in a recession. 100% you're going to have to like cut rates and do a bunch of other bullshit if we get that low. Which is why I'm like, yeah, we probably end up seeing something pretty similar to 2018, which, like I said, you got that 2018 move. When it bottomed, it V-shaped recovery from December back to July of the following year, and then ultimately all the way to February of even the next year. So, like, you got a very good 16 to 18 months of time, and then COVID happened. So that was like a blip in the map. Like, this sell-off happened in literally from February to March. 1 month, we gave up 35% of the stock market before another V-shaped recovery in a serious run. Yeah, dude, this thing went up over 150% in 2 years. So like people say like, oh, the market's so bad. I just think if the market's this shitty, just start DCAing slowly because I still think there's a lot more blood left on the table. And I'm seeing the timeline now be like, oh, everyone's bearish. I'm going bullish. Yeah, I think that's a short-term trade. Like, I think it's a very short-term trade of being bullish while the market is like so bearish. I think you can be bullish right now for a short period of time, but long-term, I think the better move is to just wait it out and survive. Like, wait it out, survive.
Yeah, I see that. I think that we're looking at first rate cut 50-50 in June. I mean, that's 2 months from now at this point. If you think we're like halfway over, we might see that first rate cut coming in June, maybe July. If things,
I think we get it in the summer. I think the first cut is the summer.
Yeah. I mean, Sella may go away. Plus, the tariff wars is going to be like something pretty interesting to see this summer. So we'll see how that goes. One more shout out to DYDX. Love partnering with DYDX. Also, they have a token buyback program that's been going on. They just passed this. 25% of net protocol fees are going into monthly buyback. So if you're bullish on DYDX and DYDX platform, you can own a piece of the pie with the DYDX token. Buybacks are live. Love to see it. Love working with them. We have a ton of fun trading on their platform. We got a ton to talk about. Easy. I'm going to share you the weather report here. I know Signal's having some connection issues, so maybe a special easy weather report today. But if you want to, if you do want to pull that up and kick it off.
All right, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. All right, let's take a look at the weather report. I don't have the fancy music. Don't tell anybody. I haven't plugged my Roadcaster in like 14 months, dude.
Not telling.
So that's a personal issue. So it's definitely on me. Okay, I take full blame for that. But tariff wars are heating up right now as the U.S. set to impose 20% tariffs on the $1.5 trillion of imports over 25 countries. S&P shed 2.5 trillion over 3 days, and crypto fell across the board as the crypto fear and greed index is back to fear at 24. Looking at the crypto roundup real quick and what the price action was because of this, Bitcoin is under 83K for now, ETH just over 1,800, and Solana at 124. You ready for a quick fact, Ray? If you held Ethereum in FTX's repayments have officially started, right? You're getting 18K for Bitcoin. You're getting $18 for Solana. How much do you think you're getting for ETH?
998.
$1,700 for
really?
ETH. Yup. So basically the exact fucking price we're sitting at right now. So if you locked up your ETH at FTX, you're about to be made whole, baby. Don't tell me ETH's not a store of value. Look at that good face, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hey, good morning, guys. Dude, I'm embarrassed by my camera. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's all right, dude. We get the bottom of your chin. You kind of look like a thumb. You kind of like a thumb.
Back on the rails.
Okay, sorry. Back on topic. Next up, it wasn't all bad news as Sailor's strategy has added just shy of $2 billion worth of Bitcoin last week. More companies are looking to adopt the same Bitcoin treasury strategy as Marathon announced a $2 billion stock offering, and Metaplanet issued over $13 million in bonds to buy Bitcoin. Man, you gotta love it. I'm just seeing if I say it that way, will Pio appear? He's currently mad at me for calling Michael Saylor's strategy played out and diluted because now Mara is doing the same thing. He's saying it's a new financial paradigm and it can't be played out and diluted. Yes, it can, because people can stop buying the bonds. That's how it works. All right. Finally, the Trumps are getting into the Bitcoin mining as Eric and Donald Trump announced a partnership, a big old partnership with Bitcoin mining firm Hut 8 to launch an American Bitcoin. The goal for the new company is to build the world's largest Bitcoin mining firm with strategic reserves. Back to you in the studio.
Excellent weather report, easy as
Clemente,
always.
what the fuck's up with your roof, dude?
Despite what's going on with the comments.
Why does it look like that?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
I watched a movie last week about a serial killer, and he kept his victims in a room that had the same roof.
Yeah, I don't know why. For people listening, I have what's called an industrial ceiling, meaning they basically take a shortcut and don't finish it. There's a bunch of like writing on it from construction stuff. I got this big ass beam next to me, a column.
Dude, the pillar is the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah, everyone wants more column.
Dude.
You can't even see the whole column. It's too big.
It's massive. I didn't realize how big it is. It's like, it's thick, dude. It is thick.
Did you tour this apartment before you like said yes?
I did, but I didn't like when I first toured it. I was like, you know, when you're touring something, there you have a optimistic mindset, right? So my mindset was, you know, this column doesn't look bad. I can build around it. I can maybe put a TV on it. Okay, people are saying, is this a downgrade? This is not a downgrade. This is not a downgrade. I'm paying more for this apartment. And I moved out. I was living kind of in the trenches before. A lot of partying going on where I was.
That was the farthest thing from the trenches, dude. You were literally living in the thick of it when it comes to like that area of Miami. I've been to your place. I know exactly where you were. We spent a lot of time together.
It's the thick of it's Wynwood, which is just,
it's not the trenches though, dude. You're not like, come on. You're not getting robbed on your walk home.
People are saying
you had a Joe's Pizza downstairs.
I had what?
A Joe's Pizza.
I never went. I never ate there.
Fire, bro.
But I moved to a more classy location, right? So I have a good view. I'm up on a higher floor. So yeah, we're working on it. I'm still figuring out the layout of the apartment, but I feel good. And while I was moving in, I accidentally plugged my camera into my desk's cord, the thing that moves like my desk up and down. So I think the voltage was too high because when I plugged it in, the camera just goes like, I played it just, and I was like, oh shit.
Is this your laptop camera?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Like, it actually looks solid. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I would tell, like, I'm pretty blunt with you. I would tell you if it looked like shit.
Yeah. So I think that the problem is I have a monitor right up here, so I'm not looking at the camera the way I should. But anyways, yeah, my camera. So I need to go take my camera to like see if they can fix it or something because I might have short circuited. But anyways, let's talk about the crypto market. Let's talk about the crypto market.
Now that you're here, let's switch over to something more fun to talk about that we can all enjoy. Let's talk about how the Taproot Wizards are doing on day one, Clemente.
Well, day 3, they're not doing well. Not doing well. For people that are just curious or may want some context, Taproot Wizards minted out and raised, I believe, $23 million last week. They had a public auction, which the settling bid for the remaining 80 Wizards was 0.31 Bitcoin. And if you participated in that, you're down 50%. And that's in Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. It's below mint price. A wizard just sold 15 minutes ago. A bid was accepted for 0.15 Bitcoin. So if you minted, you're down roughly $4,000, which is not ideal. And the last 8 sales are offers that were accepted. So a lot of offers in the 0.15 region. You look at the listings, are getting very, very thick. And many people are left wondering what is going on with the NFT ecosystem. We're not seeing a lot of traction anywhere. And if you look at the broader Ordinals ecosystem, it is a bloodbath across the board. We have Quantum Cats down 22% with a looming release of the cats expected at some point today. OMBs are down to 0.032 Bitcoin puppets. So yeah, it's not a great time to own a Bitcoin Ordinal. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, I think you said it all. Not great. Hype drop. No one wants it. It seems to be like the TLDR.
The problem is no one, like, it was never NFT season to begin with, right? Like, people aren't going to buy a collectible if they don't feel rich. And what you're seeing right now is like a broader fear in the market. And NFTs for a while, like the NFT run that we saw in January was pretty much just the NFT run we saw in January was basically just people anticipating that meme coins were going to be dropped by their favorite project, right? So it was led by Pengu, and then we had a flurry of Solana meme coins that everyone was excited about, and now it's just absolutely cooked. I don't want to, yeah, I mean that, like, if you look at Udi's, I trust Udi. I think this is a venture-backed company. I think they're going to eventually do something, but also, when you look at Udi in general, he's historically shown to not care about floor prices, about like any of the bullshit. And he takes risks. For example, literally paying or buying $1 million of AIXBT, which is down probably 85%. So, yeah, Notorious Big Bull is asking if I'm still holding. Yes, I don't know about
Also,
Red.
yes.
Got it. Yeah, not ideal.
Not ideal at all.
We'll see. I mean, I'm holding mine for now.
Yep. All right. Just wanted to throw that in there just because that's one that we've been talking about on the show, and we have a little bit of context there. Overall macro. So U.S. is imposing tariffs this week. I think Wednesday is supposed to be like the big day in terms of like they're calling it like Liberation Day essentially. Over $1.5 trillion worth of imports will have 20% plus tariffs across 25 plus different countries. S&P down big. Bitcoin fell under 82K briefly. Raul Paul says we are in the bottoming zone. Easy. What is your bottom, or like what are your like downward price targets on some of the majors? Bitcoin.
Oh, on the majors, I'm still set on 69K Bitcoin, $88 Sol, between $1,400 and $1,600 ETH. Those have been the targets. I tweeted them. People called me retarded, but that's kind of where my brain goes. Is like 69 to 72 Bitcoin, $88 to $95 Sol, and $1,400 to $1,600 ETH.
Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. Ideally, we bottom. We don't get all the way down there. We don't bottom out right now. The chart, the M2 versus Bitcoin chart here, saying that the Bitcoin bottom is in. If you're looking at this chart, the black is representing the global M2, which is basically money supply on a 10-week lead period. So you can see that that is basically bottomed and is now trending upwards. Bitcoin has historically kind of followed this if you're looking at the chart. So maybe we've bottomed here at this range, and it's time to move upward. But yeah, it's anyone's guess what happens, especially when you have some factors outside of like just normal economic activity coming with the tariffs and trade wars.
We have Edward Armando Escobar saying, "Why does ETH hold so well compared to other majors?" I don't think that's the case.
It doesn't.
In the last 7 days, Ethereum is down 12%, XRP is down 14%, Solana is down 12%. I mean, it's literally holding the same. AVAX down 14%.
Yeah, I mean, ETH BTC on the daily here is now at levels we haven't seen since May of 2020. We've now hit lows. We've passed the low that we saw at the end of 2020, and we're already working our way back to May in terms of the ETH BTC. And basically, that's how much ETH gets you, or how many.
Is this an all-time low? This is looking like it's. I mean, oh my god.
No, it's low since May of 2020, and then like it's attacking like the range before it ran in 2017.
Got it.
But, like, yeah, once this breaks below 0.017, it's going to be like getting to ranges not seen since 2017. So ETH BTC continues to fall. Bloomberg was reporting that developers are fleeing Ethereum. Ethereum's 24-hour revenue fell below 100K. ETH ETF has 24 straight days of Bitcoin outflows, and a Bloomberg strategist predicts ETH may revisit $1,000 this year.
Array. So when you say the revenue is less than 100K in the last 24 hours, is that basically that's kind of a good thing, right? I'm hypothetically speaking, because that's not the goal, right? The goal was to make Ethereum scalable, right? So it's not technically that's not like a metric that can be used against ETH, right? Because if the L2s are scalable and they're being used at a high level, but it's really cheap gas, that means ETH wouldn't be necessarily making a bunch of money.
It's good for like adoption. It's not great for price. Now ETH is now inflationary since the merge because we're not burning it at the rate because it's not being used as much. Looking at Ethereum gas right now, we're below 1 Gwei, which is like, honestly, I never thought that would happen ever. If you asked me in 2021 if we're ever going to see ETH below 1 Gwei in terms of gas, I would say like you're crazy, like you're a wild person. But now we've like consistently seen it there for like an extended period of time, which is pretty wild. So I'm bringing up all these negative ETH metrics, basically saying like, have we found a bottom, or if you're buying ETH here or long ETH here, are you just catching a falling knife?
I would never buy ETH again. And I'm not trying to be a dick.
I'm tempted to pick up 6 ETH to buy Julian Holmgren's Doodle. That's what I'm very interested in. Like, that's a trophy. I'd slap that bitch on my wall and say, listen, look at me. I'm the CEO now.
6 months in and Easy still, or like 2 years in, Easy still can't pronounce his last name. Julian
Holmgren.
Julian Whole Foods. For people that don't know, Julian Whole Foods listed as Doodle for 6 ETH.
Yeah, Julian Whole Wheat is it's listed for 6 ETH.
Julian Wheat Thins, you can buy his Doodle now for just 6 ETH, and this comes less than 3 months after his departure from Doodles. Many people are kind of speculating, like, man, this relationship really must have not ended well. I wouldn't buy this for 6 ETH. I'd rather just buy 2 Doodles. Right?
Did somebody buy it? Like, I don't see it. Where is it?
1 second. Please hold. It's probably not.
I'm so glad OG Vault warned us dummies not to vote for Trump. How's the market looking now? So glad that the 4 of us dumb idiots on this stage dictated the entire U.S. elections.
Yeah, he's telling us not to vote for Trump. I mean, I'm very curious what the market would have looked like if Biden, or sorry, not Biden, if Kamala Harris was elected, and if that would have had a positive effect in the broader market.
It would have been so much better, dude. I mean, go Kamala.
Oh, hey, Nick. I was looking down. I pop up and I see you arrive. How are you doing?
How are they going to sell the CEO's Doodle? I don't understand. How's that even possible?
It's his.
Like, what are they doing? I thought
he listed it.
Huh?
He listed it, not the team.
Bless you.
That's so dirty.
Yeah, Julian Whole Eats is the one who listed
it. That's so ridiculous. That's from his wallet.
Yeah.
We have to find it on OpenSea, but Steve from Coffee with Captain reported that this Doodle's listed for 6 ETH, $10,000 on OpenSea.
Maybe it's listed on X2Y2, which just went under finally after years of their service. They are stopping operations in X2Y2. Jeez, Clemente, I just saw your other link you sent this morning. Speaking of old NFTs or the Gutter Cat Gang. Like this one, I'm pulling up now. Whale reported here. Gutter Cat Gang did a community sale for their gang token launch, which concluded, and they raised, no joke, 3.66 ETH, $6.8 thousand. Their goal was to sell 12% of the supply, trying to raise over $1 million at a $9 million market cap. So not looking too great for the Gutter Cat Gang. I don't know what people were expecting.
How does a team not even put in more than 6.8K? Like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, dude, even the team didn't do the pre-sale.
Like, you got to get the ball rolling a little bit.
Like,
so I found it out.
Like, hey, here's 10 bands. Let's start heating up the train and keep the wheels in motion. Like, dude, my God. So for 6 ETH, this is very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's look at all these wearables he's got too.
Hold on, you just switched up.
This is his so this is Julian H.ETH. This is him. Verifying.
Should we go in, buy this, and burn it?
I'm down, dude. I'll throw a couple ETH at this. I mean, it's worth nothing anyway.
Buy it, get the dude token airdrop, then burn it.
Let's not burn it. Let's all PFP it. We split it and all of us PFP it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Wild stuff in the NFT market. Nick, we talked a little bit about tariffs, macro, ETH in general. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the overall macro market. I was kind of positing is ETH bottomed here in sentiment and price, or are we still is it just catching a knife if you're trying to long ETH here?
I mean, the market ain't so hot. These fuckheads elected Trump. Can you believe it? I mean, just absolutely insane. Y'all dumb idiots on the screen right now are responsible for that.
Yeah. Listen, you don't know who I voted for or if I abstained from voting.
Okay, I'm just fucking around.
I'm abstaining from sex.
You can't even vote in this country.
Yeah, you need a credit score, right?
Not with no voter ID, dude. In California, I voted 16 times for Trump.
Did you see that
from Chile?
That video of Elon going on stage talking about the what was it? How the illegal immigrants came in and got social security numbers, and then voted in the election.
That guy, I don't want to listen to. I'm about to block him on Twitter.
He's gone off the rails, but I don't know. Seemed interesting.
Did you see his daughter went on a streamer's podcast and just absolutely lit him up? Absolutely fucking torched him. Was really? Just yeah, I'll send you it. He went on. She went on Hassan Abi's stream. Hassan's historically very democratic, very liberal when it comes to social norms and stuff like that. Very anti-Elon, very anti-Trump. And they just bashed Elon for a good 30, 40 minutes in which they were all of it's a marketing scheme. We'll never be able to colonize Mars. It'll take hundreds of years. This is all fucking bullshit. It was pretty wild.
Well, the Mars stuff is interesting where he's yeah, well, it sounded like a Tesla promise of full automated driving. What?
The comments are saying son or daughter. He's a he. Daughter or son.
No,
who gives a shit?
No,
One of
it's a
Elon's
daughter.
kids went on and just nuked them.
Son, that's now daughter.
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Anyways,
Who gives a shit?
It was Elon's kid who went on and absolutely nuked Elon. And as a Tesla owner,
literally just aborted that story entirely. Ray hops in with like, but son, what? And now we're just talking about. So we just missed the entire conversation. We just threw that off. Any other conversation you want to torch, Ray?
What? I didn't say anything. What did I say?
You were the one that actually threw it off. You threw it off. I'm just play back the tape.
What did I throw off? I haven't been talking. You guys have been arguing about he, she, like Elon.
I think you said he. You said he.
I didn't say anything. I can guarantee you I didn't say anything.
Okay,
it's on
we're
wax.
gonna after this show's done, we're gonna roll it back.
Yeah, we got it. It's
roll
on
it
wax.
back.
I didn't say anything. Anyway, Nick, macro.
Put it on wax.
Macro.
You asked me about ETH, dude. I've been wanting to sell my ETH for weeks, and I stupidly haven't.
Everyone says. I mean, maybe when you sell, like that's the bottom. I went over like some quick hitters. Bloomberg reported that ETH developers are fleeing. Their total 24-hour revenue fell below 100K over the weekend. The ETH ETF is now 24 straight days of outflows. ETH BTC is in 5-year lows. We're getting close to the point where it's like lows since 2017. Bloomberg strategist predicts ETH may revisit $1,000 this year. So like it just feels super bearish for ETH, and nobody wants to buy it. And everyone is saying like this is the worst of the quote unquote majors at this point. Like, is there like I said, is there a bottom or is it knife catching? Like I don't know. Like would you long ETH at any point? Or are you just like done with it? And you think, hey, like this paradigm and the social contract or the smart contract layer for ETH just isn't the future?
I have no idea, dude. We're making a bet on which price I'm most interested in. And I guess the main thing is for me, ETH is not the main runner.
That's fair.
I guess it's just like,
speaking of ETH not being the main runner, Binance listed the Gunzilla token today. Web3 gaming is alive and well. It's at $1 billion market cap. I feel good about it.
the token launched.
Yeah, launched today on Binance.
Oh, wow.
The Gun token. 1 billion out the gate. There is some concerns though. It's a 6% float. So about I don't know. I'm really bad at math. So what's 6% of $1 billion? 60 mil.
What's the
It's ticker Gun. You can only get it on Binance International. It's not on Binance US.
It's too early for math questions.
Yeah, all I know is it's 6% circulating supply, and Binance stakers own 66% of that. So some people are a little bit upset at the current tokenomic structure of it, but it's a good sign. Like if a ticker, Binance's first time listing an AVAX L1, which shows that there is demand for it. You have some other big ones coming out with like MapleStory and a few other big players on that side of things that I'm pretty interested in. HK Planet, Faraway is another very interesting one that'll be launching here with F-Chain in the near future. HK Planet, which is South Korea's AVAX L1 that I still think a lot of people don't realize they use every single day. Like bus fares in Korea are on that, which I think is pretty fucking cool. And then you have obviously Gunzilla. So if you've been playing off the grid, cosmetics stayed, tokens are getting reset. I think there's an opportunity to play the game and make some cash personally, which I'm interested about. Like I'm very interested on that. The tokenomics for this, obviously there's some concerns, but it's good to see $1 billion market cap come out. And we have DeFi Dungeons launching today, basically in 21 minutes. Which is an on-chain World of Warcraft. I personally have a little under 20,000 United States dollars allocated to buy these on secondary. Like I want to pick up an army of these because I did really, really well on Play the Heist, taking a similar play where I waited a day and then swept when people kind of realized the game wasn't live just yet. Yeah, this is something I'm very interested in because this team, I read the full GitHub. I have a video dropping on it later today. And I think that this game is going to have a significantly longer shelf life than Remnants and the Heist did, which both launched during bear markets and did very well. Remnants was actually 21, but the Heist launched bear market of 22, 23. And people were printing like stupid amounts of capital from that game. So this game just has a lot more intricacies to it of how you like train your characters and do a bunch of RPG style stuff. And then they have dungeon raids, which are like 15 minutes. And there's already stuff that they're planning for like longer term. I also really like that they're doing the mint in USDC because there won't be sell pressure on Solana. Like they're raising 3 mil and they would have to convert that to Sol. So you'd get a $3 million sell basically the second this ends. And now we don't have that. It's already in stables. So for me, I'm a fan of that. They pre-sold 76% of it. So it's going to sell out immediately regardless. But I'm very interested in the secondary trading of this. Good day for Web3 gaming.
Looks like Analyst 1 starts in 19 minutes.
10 a.m. EST.
So I wonder how.
Oh, that's the other thing. The gold ticker is already live.
Why would you not just buy gold?
So I was just going to say, if I'm a trading man, I would be buying gold for the next 7 days, give or take, maybe 5 days for the game launch as people sprint to try to max out their characters. Theoretically, you should see this price rise as a lot of people try to go and max out their characters. But then I would exit the gold trade when the game has been playable for like 48 hours because people are going to be playing the game to farm the token and sell the token to recoup cost. So I'm a gold buyer right now for, I think the game launches in, I don't know how long, a couple days, handful of days. And I would be selling this once game launch happens as people are buying to max their characters. And then I'd pivot back and buy the NFTs for the recoup on cost.
Got it. Okay.
Well, so you're going to be sweeping, you're guys going to be trading essentially with, and then like kind of playing casually. I know we have something lined up for you and Clemente, but I think we're going to do that in a way that's like showcasing the game.
Yeah, I want to actually play this game.
Like
I want to play this.
Each pick one character and like a certain amount of gold and do it, which is going to be kind of fun to like show people how to play and how to min max. But
I want to play it. Keep talking, Ray. I want keep talking.
Yeah, so
I want to play.
It actually reminds me of if you remember DeFi Kingdoms, which was a ton of fun. I like got in DeFi Kingdoms super early.
I want to play it
into my crypto journey, and did okay on it. Got in and out like fast enough to where I didn't get cooked. Where people who had like these long like locked jewel holdings did, but that was a lot of fun. It looks like they're doing a lot of the mechanics from DeFi Kingdoms and the art.
Dude, cool. If I'm listening to this show right now, I'm thinking, boy, are we in a bear market. This is bearish conversation. We got Doodle selling. We got some random fucking game that no one's gonna play.
We're giving the audience a trade opportunity.
We
only came out here and called Ray a bunch of names.
We got Gutter Cat, like not able to sell a damn thing. Dude, it would cost more to buy that Doodle than to fund Gutter Cat's token.
That's pretty wild.
No, sorry. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I thought this is a different game.
Okay, anyways, moving on.
What's the Binance game? You're telling me Faraway's on Binance?
No, Gunzilla is on Binance.
Avalanche.
DeFi Dungeons is the game we were just talking about.
I was talking about Gunzilla.
Love to see it. Speaking of TGEs and mints, we have Wayfinder's TG getting delayed initially for Q1 2025 of this year. The prompt token now is expected to be launching within 2 weeks. They posted that they're going to do a bit of a delay on that. Easy. AI's cooled down. You've been using Wayfinder for a little bit. What are you expecting with this prompt token, and what's your strategy going into it?
Well, originally when the market was hot, I was like 10 billion. Now I'm hoping this thing can break 100 million. Yeah, I don't know. I think Wayfinder's sick. The mobile app's really cool. Moving assets to it. It's like a chat GPT for on-chain stuff. So I think it's cool. It sucks that they're delaying. It was supposed to launch today, I think, is the day.
Yeah, it was Q1, so today would have been the deadline. Will you be trading prompt? I know like this was like super hot and sought
100%.
after just 2 months ago, or like I guess 3 months ago now when AI was like at its peak and everyone's like, well, this thing is going to absolutely cook. Now that it's quieted off a bit, maybe there's a better entry. It's kind of my thought process. This could be a good AI token moving forward.
I think this one's going to withstand the test of time. They have Colony dropping, which is like a Sims style game. Yeah, like overall, I think that they have a lot in the pipeline. They just did the HyperX Arena for Parallel, the trading card game, with a 250K cash prize for the winner of their first ever tournament on it. So Wayfinder's big when it comes to the Parallel ecosystem. It's why I swept those avatars, which I'm currently down about half an ETH on the 10. Happens. But
you swept 10?
Yeah, I spent 6 ETH. I spent more than Julian Holmgreen's Doodle.
I have some. I gotta figure out what my price entry is here for them. Pull up my NFT portfolio.
That's the question. Is like, should I have not swept avatars and should I have just bought like Julian Holwheat's NFT?
Definitely not.
But the provenance, dude.
Oh man, Jirasan too has been struggling.
Yeah, I cut those.
I spent like almost 4 ETH on these.
Yeah, I got fucking. I
cool.
lost like 2.5 ETH thinking that they'd actually give back to the ecosystem. Turns out they fucking didn't.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they had a couple like opportunities for airdrops TG, and that all the tokens that like kind of launched on their launch pad just like absolutely tanked. They have the redacted token. I think that being adjusted. Looked like a no-brainer play.
More for Doodles than Jirasan did.
What'd you say?
What just happened?
I said Julian Grassfed did more for Doodles than Jirasan did for their holders.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, we keep coming back to NFTs, but yeah, they're not doing so hot as well. Everything's pretty much down here. One thing that's interesting, end of May, we just got news that FTX is going to be repaying major creditors with $11.4 billion in cash reserves. At this point, they've only been repaying these smaller creditors. I think it was like 50K or less. Easy brought up a good point earlier, Nick, saying he listed the prices of everything when FTX like crashed and what they were being repaid in. ETH is essentially the same price, and everything else is like down horrendously from what they're getting like refunded at. It's like was it like $18 Solana, like 17K Bitcoin, and $1,700 ETH. So
yeah, right around there.
If you had ETH locked up in FTX, you're like essentially break even.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Clemente, what are you raising your hand for?
So we had just to go through this, right? Looks like I missed some of this. Metaplanet issue $2 million in bonds, or 2 billion yen in bonds to purchase Bitcoin. We had Marathon Digital, which is a Bitcoin mining company, $2 billion stock offering to purchase additional Bitcoin. So,
I mean, you want to talk about good news or just all bad stuff all show? So, I mean,
this is bad news. I mean, oh damn! So 2 billion yen is only 13 mil. Yikes. Okay.
Marathon's 2 bill though.
So I'm like, is this? I guess Bitcoin mining company Marathon Digital. I was thinking about it this morning about the GameStop news, and GameStop feels like I feel like eventually it'll get to the point to where some of these companies end up selling it. Like they get like a clean 2x on. They're like, all right, we're gonna take the profits on this one, folks. I think it feels bullish now, and it's certainly exciting. But at one point, does it get? I mean, I guess people will just keep buying these bonds, right?
Well, I want to throw it easy because he's saying essentially that it's going to be like eventually diluted. Right now, here's kind of a look at the lay of the land for non-MicroStrategy like Bitcoin holdings for public companies. Marathon Digital is number 2. When you zoom out and you look at MicroStrategy, everything else is peanuts at this point. We'll see like what happens in terms of leveling that out. It's interesting seeing Marathon, Metaplanet, and GameStop all adding Bitcoin, like in terms of like doing the same sailor strategy where they're issuing convertible debt or buybacks or like selling bonds to raise capital for Bitcoin, which is kind of like out of sailor strategy. It's not just purchasing Bitcoin with like cash reserves. So they're kind of like getting a little bit of debt, which adds more buy pressure, but also I think more risk. Easy, you mentioned earlier that you think that this strategy is dilutive and it's kind of going to like hurt MicroStrategy's edge a bit. I want to hear like what your thought process is there.
Yeah, I don't know. When I think about it, I'm like, we now have GameStop doing it, Mara doing it. Obviously, Sailor continuing to do it. They're raising more capital by diluting the equity prices. Eventually, people stop buying the diluted equity, right? Like, you won't always have a buyer or a counterparty where the price will eventually go down and people will go underwater. So like for me, when you continue to see more and more organizations and businesses try this, it is dilutive. Like that is eventually people will not be able to raise the same amount of capital that they've been raising here. Like that's where my brain goes, is like, this feels kind of like people are continuing to do this, but eventually like the music has to stop. You won't be able to raise capital forever, or else people would have been doing this for years. Like Sailor's done it in a new and unique way, but people have to stop buying eventually. Like that's where my brain goes. And like if every company's doing it versus just these 3, certain companies are going to be able to continue to do it while others won't be able to raise capital in that same manner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of like issuing convertible debt, like if you're going to need a counterparty on all of it, in terms of like buys at the market on your stock. But I kind of agree because like even now, PO said like, oh yeah, I'll buy some GameStop here, or like the other day. It's like, okay, well that's funds that could have then been like used for MicroStrategies. It's now getting spread out. So if you have multiple options and some potentially with better returns, and people are like trying to be either more risk on or risk off with which like Bitcoin strategy they're going with, like it's spread through a wider market. So I definitely see that making sense. I hadn't thought about it from that angle before. But then the question becomes like, what's the total addressable market of people who want Bitcoin exposure? I guess is what the bottom line is, right? Through these methods.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. Like, what is it? What is the value of exposure cost? And also, like, you can just buy IBIT if you wanted direct Bitcoin exposure instead of like any sort of other inherent risk. I don't know.
I'd way rather buy Bitcoin than any of these zombie companies raising
garbage zombie companies switching to the Bitcoin standard. This is the worst marketing for the Bitcoin standard ever, is that like just garbage companies are buying Bitcoin.
Well, me and Pio were arguing about this morning. I was
Really?
like, just briefly on Twitter, because I posted and I was like, we just saw GameStop use this playbook last week. We're watching Mara do it this week. Is this going to be the norm for stocks, or is this quickly going to get played out and diluted? And he quoted played out and diluted, line break, LOL, line break. This isn't a meta for people that are trading bullshit with no value. This is a technological advancement in corporate finance. And my response was, until they continue to try to raise capital through this offering and people stop biting and bidding. Like, you have to have a counterparty.
There's no technology shift in the underlying organization at all by implementing a Bitcoin strategy. It's just an asset. It's
well, you're diluting an asset.
What do you mean?
The stock, the shares, all of these things are dilutive to the shares. You're basically issuing more shares over and over.
You can issue more shares, or you can issue debt.
Yeah, or debt.
Both of which effectively dilute the shares.
Yeah, both are literally diluting the shares. And he then came back with me and said, with FASB accounting implemented, it's going to be a game changer. I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't know what the fuck FASB accounting is.
Basically, all that it's saying is you had to mark the price of the Bitcoin at the original price where you bought it. Now you can actually mark it to market, and it gets attributed as income. So let's say the price of Bitcoin goes from 80K to 160K. You get to mark that on your income statement as profit. My only concern about that, I was like, yo, this is a double-edged sword, and it may even be
if price goes down,
it may be a triple-edged sword. So there's a couple of things. One is, I was like, well, does it impact your tax? Do you have to pay tax if you increase the overall income as a result? So that was one question I had, which I don't think you do, but that's where it's really complicated. Separately though, yeah, if it goes down, it looks bad on your books. You end up losing money. So the idea that this just like completely transforms things, to me, is crazy. And also fundamentally, at the end of the day, like, you think OpenAI or someone like that is thinking about a Bitcoin strategy? Like, OpenAI is thinking about how to transform AI. Google is thinking about how to transform AI. Yeah, they have cash, but at the end of the day, it's like, how do I build another cash machine?
Microsoft, Apple, Google, OpenAI, X, 5 massive companies all focused on AI right now.
Meta. Yeah.
Meta.
They're not saying, how do I implement a Bitcoin strategy in order to build, because the Bitcoin strategy is not a new cash machine. Like, it doesn't just generate cash. Theoretically, though, when the price goes up, you end up with more assets, but it's like it's boring finance at that point, basically.
But when the price goes down, your balance sheet decreases as well, versus a net new income opportunity for a business is bottom line revenue generation. Plain and simple.
Marcos being P on this case, clip this.
Doesn't matter what we say. Dinner's in approximately 7 hours.
So Yeah, you're correct. The thing I was gonna say, I had to do the math there quickly. The thing I was gonna say, the biggest problem with all of this is a corporation's job. Treasury management is like the most boring portion of any organization. I mean, like it's not something that's like thrilling and exciting yet. And it's like a small portion of how the organization like operates. The reality is like, oh, we have too much cash. What are we going to do with this? And they have a variety of options to take at that point. But they have too much cash because of the cash machine they generated. And that's what the market measures the success of that business based on. The cash, the actual cash machine, aka the business, the thing that the product or service that they're selling and how much revenue it's generating. That's all that matters. So OpenAI is selling both subscriptions to consumers, but as well as developer access to their APIs. And so ultimately the question is, do you have the best models? Is that the stuff that the market wants to pay for? If you don't have that, no Bitcoin strategy is going to transform any of it from that organization. I'm curious, is GameStop back up?
I'll pull it back up.
Well, the S&P is dumping right now, so
I can't imagine it's up. I mean, until we see different, like these things are all going to trade as risk on assets, and we're not going to see.
Oh, it's down bad.
Oh, it's deeply underwater. Therefore, the debt is actually significantly worse to put on the books at the moment.
Oh, Bitcoin strategy not looking good right now.
Oof, FASB accounting more like fuck all this shit hurts.
H hurts is not H.
I think
fuck all shit's bad.
I think we've done everything we could to try to summon Pio. I just don't think he's listening at this point.
He's not coming. Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not playing out well, but I mean, it's the whole market's not playing out well. So I don't know if it's like the strategy of GameStop.
How's Fiverr looking right now? Ooh, down 4%. Let's go.
Your boy had a snipe of a trade, brother.
Did you?
Had a snipe of a trade. The short Fiverr.
Did you make the trade?
Yes, I'm now in the trade.
How did you get access to it?
I took put options for a really short-term expiration at the money. It's one of the worst possible trades I can make. I basically need the market to continue to dump.
So I'm up currently on that trade 22%.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Just hold it. Look at the check chart. That's the future of Fiverr. The check chart is the future of Fiverr.
I'm up 22%
Look at
on
this
this bad
chart,
boy so far.
It's just like when OpenAI launched right here.
OpenAI launched like 1 week after the peak. Like that's.
Well, I heard Chegg's implementing a Bitcoin strategy.
Yeah, they're actually doing, instead of fast B accounting, they're doing slow B accounting, where it's last in, first out.
Yeah, this thing's pretty dead, huh? So under a buck.
99%.
I mean, that was also the COVID crash. If you look at Fiverr, you could argue that the chart looks very similar.
Yeah, but Fiverr's got a lot more downwards to go to 20 cents, which is what we're hoping for, baby. Put him out of business.
Wait, how short did you buy the options? Like 1 week?
2 weeks. 14 day.
And what's your exercise price?
Oh God, I'd have to double check. it's pretty close. I got like very close to the money. Put options on it. So I'm up.
I was discussing that today or this weekend. My trade was far out of the far out.
We summoned them.
Oh, he's here.
What are we talking about? Fiverr?
Yeah, and Fiverr implementing a Bitcoin
Are they?
strategy. No.
Oh.
We said that's like the last thing you do before your company goes bankrupt.
Yeah. That take's gonna age well.
That thing's gonna age well.
Nate, you know what I was thinking about this morning? Actually, like when like the show first came out, I started listening or whatever, and then I was eating my boiled eggs. I was like, dude, if Nick didn't know me If he did not know me, if we were not on this podcast together, Nick would be going off on Twitter about how MicroStrategy was going to get liquidated and it wasn't going to work without paying any actual attention to it. He would just be one of the guys going off about how Michael Saylor was smoking crack and that they were going to get liquidated. Look, he knows it's true. He knows it's true. Look at him. He knows it's true.
That's not true.
You really think you wouldn't just go at Saylor the way all these other KOLs are doing? Yo, Clemente, give me an impression of some of these KOLs real quick.
Which one?
Clemente, we were on a call the other day. Clemente did an impression of KOLs. It was so funny, dude. It was so funny. Anyways,
Yeah, the Spanish impression.
No, this is a different one.
we love the Latino impressions. This just made the KOL sound like, 16-year-old, like 88.
We were saying, basically what we were discussing is how delusional the Bitcoin strategy is for all these companies, because it's complete, absolute garbage that's not related in any way to their fundamental underlying business.
You just do not understand the whole business.
You can't just replace a business by implementing a Bitcoin strategy, Pia.
You're not replacing the business. GameStop had an assload of cash, 10x more cash than MicroStrategy had when it started this Bitcoin thing. This is like this weird ignored thing that, like, fucking Apple has $128 billion in cash. Like, are we just ignoring that? It's better for that to be in Bitcoin. It's so strange to me that this is just not processed at all. And instead it just turns into this is dumb. Bitcoin's better than cash. It just is. It's going up forever.
You're missing the point, though. Their gross revenue is down 33% year over year. So their business, GameStop, their business sucks. It's dying. Okay. And there's nothing that they can do to change that, not even buy Bitcoin.
Implementing the Michael Saylor playbook, which you still can because no one else has, except now Mara and Metaplanet are implementing the Michael Saylor playbook, which is the corporate finance wizardry to accumulate more Bitcoin. You can still do that. And saying that GameStop is going to be unsuccessful with that is just another take that, don't delete the tweet. Don't delete the tweet, dude.
I won't. I haven't even written the tweet, but I'll write the
tweet
verbally. Post it. I will note it down in your notebook of anger and disgust.
I have to listen to wild takes, and I'm like, they're wrong, and then no one says they're wrong after time goes by. No one will ever say I was wrong after the fact, after they were just violently wrong on Twitter for years.
You're so desperate for people to apologize as well as a result of the fact that they're going to be underwater for the next 6-12 months, whatever it'll be, and then if
are underwater, who are these they?
Anybody that implements it right now. Let's say it goes down, they end up being underwater on their buy, but separately, it doesn't transform the actual business.
It can if all of a sudden they have a North Star that they're marching towards, the way MicroStrategy has with the Bitcoin strategy. Their balance sheet is absolutely exploding.
So GameStop's going to become a Bitcoin bank?
No, but they are going to have way more capital than they ever would have. They are going to have the full support of the Bitcoin network, and they can do things that they probably wouldn't have been able to do because, as you pointed out, their business was failing. It was going to zero. And now all of a sudden they're going to have an assload of the best commodity that's going up forever. So when they have an assload of Bitcoin and it's $160,000 per Bitcoin, and all of a sudden, GameStop stock is up 5x, you can still say all this, but it's are you right at that point?
Couldn't they have just bought Berkshire Hathaway stock 10 years ago and then done nothing?
They can't buy securities. Remember, we've talked about this. They cannot buy securities because of securities law and regulations. They can buy commodities. Should they buy chocolate or should they buy Bitcoin? This is what I'm talking. I have to listen to this crazy shit all the time, and then no one's like, I was wrong.
My point is not for them to buy it. Even if they could legally do it, it would be like, what are y'all doing? That's not your business. Is not trading assets. Basically, it's not trading commodities. That's not the job of
They're not
GameStop.
Trading commodities. They're converting soft money into hard money, fiat money into hard money, which, by the way, every company before 1971 was already doing this with the gold standard. Their money was gold. It was hard money.
If they end up with 10x more cash or cash equivalent value, who gives a shit? Their business still sucks.
Their shareholders are going to give a shit. I'll tell you that. Their shareholders are going to give a lot of shits. They've created a lot of shareholder value.
I mean, the thought process is that more and more companies are going to do this. It's going to be more dilutive as more companies do it. You're going to see less value. And the boost to Bitcoin is not going to just astronomically affect one more than the other in that scenario if one company has a failing business model and just a truckload of Bitcoin, right?
So Easy said, Easy tweeted about the dilute, or like the, it's going to be dilutive. It's going to be less impactful. Guys, this isn't a crypto meta. This isn't a bunch of guys trading valueless random shit coins and it's from trend to trend. This is corporations converting their shitty balance sheets because they're fiat balance sheets. So Apple's balance sheet is shitty because it's fiat, right? And you're converting it. Dude, defending fiat currency. I mean, come on, man.
They're not doing that, though. Aren't they issuing debt and like more offerings of shares? So somebody needs to buy those, right?
We don't know this yet, but the suspicion is that GameStop's also going to convert a percentage of their cash. That's what everyone expected them to just convert the cash. It was a surprise that they're going full tilt and running the Saylor playbook. Like, that's a surprise, right? And so this isn't like a meta or a trend, and the market's short-term reaction to it doesn't matter, because the substance is that Bitcoin's going on balance sheets. Bitcoin's the best commodity ever. It's going up forever. It's going to go to really high numbers. And thus, if you have an ass load of it on your balance sheet now, when it goes to the high numbers, your balance sheet goes crazy. So I'm not saying that this is the end all be all for everybody, but if all of a sudden GameStop wants to make a play to be a top 10 Bitcoin holder, wow. Just wow. Holy shit. Like, wait till you see what companies can do if they have that much Bitcoin. You have to really think. When NVIDIA was just making graphics cards and they were a small company 6 years in, if you told someone they were going to be the biggest company in the world, if you told someone like Nick, who was in San Francisco, who could have taken a look at NVIDIA, Nick would immediately tell you that you're smoking crack. This graphics card company is going to be the biggest company in the world. They're going to be the #1 player in artificial intelligence. What are you talking about? You're smoking crack. That's just how things go. You have to really think forward.
All right, Pio. So say GameStop.
They're building. Hold on one second, real quick. NVIDIA was building something. Anybody that buys Bitcoin is doing nothing.
MicroStrategy is building a Bitcoin treasury company.
Okay, MicroStrategy. No. I'm saying, but that's MicroStrategy. I'm saying anybody else that goes and just adds it to the balance sheet. How many billions is GameStop going to buy of Bitcoin? Are they going to put all of their cash into it?
We don't know.
Let's say if they bought 1 billion and it went up 10x, they'd have 10 billion additional in asset, aka $14 billion, which is slightly more than their current market cap. But if the revenue, there's plenty of companies that trade at less under the actual assets value, because they don't generate cash flow. The way that the stocks trade is not based on how much just your balance sheet is. What they end up trading based on is the actual ability of that company to grow over time and generate and produce cash, basically, for the actual shares. So if they're not able to actually generate that, then it doesn't matter. And the mere act of just buying Bitcoin doesn't necessarily, like, you're going to just abandon the actual business.
They're not abandoning anything. You're saying that. They're not abandoning anything. They're supercharging by plugging into the Bitcoin network. And you can like mock that and like shake it off or whatever. But the reality is, holding Bitcoin is the most valuable thing that you can do because it's the best commodity. It's a technology version of gold. So
everybody buys it
to make money off the Bitcoin. I want to make it clear. I want to tell you something right now. There's going to be cash flow off the Bitcoin in the future for GameStop. If you don't believe that, that's on you. That's fine.
If everyone buys Bitcoin and puts it on the balance sheet, it doesn't fucking matter, basically. Like,
whoever has the most wins.
Right now,
more than the next
guy. Most, like, some of the most free capital in terms of market cap, but they're not winning. So like my thought process is, okay, just take GameStop now, 5x their cash holdings. Are they an interesting company to you if they don't own Bitcoin, Pia?
If they're fully, no, But if you plug into the Bitcoin network, like
What does
you guys
plugging into the Bitcoin network mean in the scenario? I'm saying
It's-
you need 5x their holdings, which Bitcoin is not going to do in the next 5 years.
you guys are like really digging your heels in so much on like the idea that a company.
Speaking of digging your heels in, you're the one digging your heels into a delusional perspective of the way that corporations actually operate. They're not valued based on the present value of a stock, is based on future equity to that stock, basically.
Just remember, I have to sit here and listen to crazy shit after I just watched MicroStrategy for 5 years, literally like 25x as a company. It might be more. Best performing stock in the entire market. I've studied the whole thing. And then another company essentially says, we want to take a page out of their playbook. And you guys are like, this is delusional. I remember I had to listen to this crazy shit. And by the way, I listened to a lot of crazy shit last cycle about Bitcoin itself. So now it seems like everyone's kind of like abandoned the Bitcoin is bad train because the price went up a lot, and price is what teaches people. And I guess it's going to take the price of GameStop going up to teach you guys. I don't know what to say. I'm just presenting my argument, and the response I get is he's delusional. It's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. They're plugging into the Bitcoin network by converting the cash that's not good because it's fiat money on their balance sheet into Bitcoin. They will yield cash off the Bitcoin in the future, 1 bajillion%. Whoever has the most Bitcoin will be winners. And the gap between the mega tech companies, if they don't buy Bitcoin, and the companies that actually are able to accumulate an assload of Bitcoin is going to narrow. It just is. It's an equalizer. You can laugh. I mean, are you going to say you're wrong in the future? Like, I'd love to understand.
Do you think GameStop's suddenly going to become an AI company and compete with fucking NVIDIA or OpenAI or Google?
But they're going to be better than they were before. That's for sure. And if they have an ass load of Bitcoin, then people are going to be really surprised. And by the way, the reason why you can buy MicroStrategy at the price you can buy it at today, the reason you can buy Bitcoin at the price that you can buy it at today, and the reason you buy GameStop at the price that you buy it at today is because most people think exactly the way you're thinking about it. Exactly.
I'm not applying this logic to MicroStrategy. I'm applying it to a company that's not focused on being a financial markets or financial institution or technology finance company, whatever it may be, that some company, like if Apple bought Bitcoin and suddenly transferred all their stuff to Bitcoin, it doesn't still change the fact that Apple's job is to sell these hardware products, and the success of their stock is going to be directly tied to their ability to sell that hardware. It's not based on the Bitcoin that they own.
We don't know what GameStop's going to do. And by the way, my position is not GameStop is doing this and thus it is foolproof. Nothing can go wrong, blah, blah, blah. Like as soon as you step into convertible notes, as soon as you step into the Saylor playbook, you are taking on risk, and not everybody is Michael Saylor. So in theory, they could mess it up. However, the playbook is written as such that it's a very reasonable way to approach things. As long as you're staying true to it, just buying Bitcoin and doing that. We don't know what's going to happen to GameStop. But if you're thinking, is it good or is it bad? I find it really hard to put myself on the bad side.
So they're gonna compete with MicroStrategy to do the exact same thing?
No, they're going to accumulate more Bitcoin than most other companies. And that's going to be really great for them. That's going to be unbelievable for them. And I don't know why anybody could look at that and say, I think that's bad. I think that's not going to work. I don't know.
We're not saying that that's bad. It's just the main thing is it has zero impact on their actual underlying business.
It has massive impact. Their earnings are going to be supercharged because of FASB accounting now, because they're going to have Bitcoin.
Well, it works both ways. It'll also be really bad on downturns for that FASB accounting, because
that's what we signed up for over 4 years. And by the way, the board of GameStop is not thinking 1 year. They're not thinking 2 years. They're thinking 10 years, right? Because these are long-term mentalities. This isn't crypto degens. This isn't crypto Twitter. This is big boy stuff. 10 years up.
Right.
Up.
So that's what I said. I said if Bitcoin 5x their cash right now, would they be an interesting company? Because you could say in 10 years, is Bitcoin going to be 5x? Maybe it'll be 400K.
In 10 years, it'll be over 10x.
You think it'll be over 400K in 10 years?
Bitcoin?
Yeah.
I think it'll be $1 million a coin in 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to expect the price to go up. I'm not saying that's bad, and I'm not even saying that buying Bitcoin on the balance sheet is a bad thing. my main, like, and congrats. I think it's great that GameStop has bought Bitcoin. And the way that they're doing it, if they're leveraging Michael Saylor's way of financing it, aka creative financing methods to go and buy the actual Bitcoin, great, congratulations. But at the end of the day, GameStop still is a gaming company, and they need to figure out a way to monetize that. And right now, they're not doing a better job. In fact, they're doing a worse job, and their revenue continues to go down. That is their only job at the end of the day, is to build a successful business that sells a product or a service. That's why you're buying one stock versus the next. You buy Delta stock over American Airlines because you think that they offer a better experience with flying, or that they're better at operations, basically, that they're able to like operate more profitably than the other companies, or that they have some strategy that makes them particularly compelling over another airline. Bitcoin has nothing to fucking do with that at all.
What's going on over Clemente? Eating some yogurt, listening in.
They're going to make cash flow off the Bitcoin. Everybody.
How are they going to make cash flow off the Bitcoin? I'm just curious. Like, what does that look like?
Your mic is switched.
You're on the wrong mic. Dude, I don't know what it looks like for every individual company. I know that for Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, it says a Bitcoin treasury company, essentially a Bitcoin bank. You can't, like, I feel like when you get into this stuff, people want you to know everything that's happening in the future. And instead, if you just can kind of generally see the way the wind is blowing, Bitcoin is the technology commodity. I want to understand what the take is on the other side of that. Like, what is the take? Is the take that
nobody's saying that Bitcoin is stupid on this show? No, what we're saying is,
and I appreciate you trying to do the whole like I'm really calm thing, like, you know, because I'm getting fired up about Bitcoin. I totally appreciate that. And so you just have.
I'm not doing the I'm totally calm thing. I'm just not pissed off about this because it's the dumbest fucking conversation to say that you add Bitcoin to a company that suddenly that company is transformed overnight is delusional idiot thinking.
They have 100,000 Bitcoins, and GameStop could get to 100,000 Bitcoins if they played their cards right over the next 5 years, and if other companies operate with a mentality like you guys.
If you held on to, let's say that a company went and bought the rarest assets in the world. I'm talking about like,
which is Bitcoin, literally
fine art.
It's the only finite asset that we have. Companies aren't going to buy artworks.
I'm just saying, as an example, let's say they bought like some golden chalice that was the rarest.
Egg. They bought the Fabergé egg, something you can with, and only has value because our collectors say it does. Let's go.
Yes. So that, I mean,
yeah.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, if the value of that thing goes up, it doesn't change their actual business.
You can't do anything with it. It's a literal physical item that doesn't matter. It's not the technology network with the highest hash rate in the world.
They could liquidate it. What are they going to do with their whole point of holding the Bitcoin is that the price goes up.
In the future, having an assload of Bitcoin is going to give you a lot of options. You're going to be able to do all sorts of financial things with the Bitcoin. And by the way, real quick, last thing on this, and then I'm going to jump because there is no point in arguing back and forth when no matter what I say, there's not going to be any budging. You made comments about MicroStrategy not building product. They're building the best financial products right now. Strife and Strike are like maverick financial products. MicroStrategy common stock is a maverick financial product. I can use it to generate thousands of dollars a month from trading options, while Saylor uses it to buy over $1 billion of Bitcoin literally today. About 1.2 billion from the common stock literally today, and like 0.6 billion or something from the preferred offerings, Strife and Strike. So it's happening right in front of everybody's face right now, and people are still saying he can't do product or they can't do product. There's no product. Bitcoin products are being rolled out right now in the form of MicroStrategy common stock, Strife, Strike, and so many more companies being built in the Bitcoin ecosystem. I understand,
but I'm not talking about MicroStrategy. Basically, MicroStrategy is going to keep doing things. I own MicroStrategy. I like the business.
I know. You need to be able to think a little bit about, like, well, what if GameStop gets to 50,000 Bitcoins? Do you think that that's going to cripple their business? It's going to save their business. It's literally going to save their business. They will be able to do things with the Bitcoin. If you told somebody in the year 2000 that NVIDIA, the little graphics card company, was going to be the world leader in AI technology, people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Apple existed then. The iPhone was about to come out, right? People would say NVIDIA hasn't innovated shit. They make graphics cards. Who gives a shit? You have to be able to look forward, man. And like, I don't know what the take is. The take is like having the Bitcoin is bad. I just don't understand what the counter take really is.
Well, the fact that you don't understand it is all that we need to say. Thanks for coming on the show, P.O. Appreciate your commentary. The fact that the take is that buying Bitcoin does not actually change your ultimate business. If you're running an airplane business and you take all of your capital and put it into Bitcoin, are you going to hire a bunch of finance people to suddenly become a finance company and sell financial products? No. Nothing's going to change. You're going to keep still flying planes and hope that you end up having a more profitable airline.
None of us have any idea what you'll be able to do with Bitcoin in the future. Like no one has any clue. The ETF just came out last year. We have no idea. Strife and Strike came out in the past 3 months. We have no clue what you're going to be able to do with Bitcoin in the future. None whatsoever.
You're going to be able to fly on it. You're going to sell. Is it going to do ticketing at the?
You would have never predicted Strife or Strike ever. I wouldn't either. Never in a million years would I have seen Strife or Strike coming. Like no shot. Like, yeah, let me shove something up. No one else did it. Only one guy has done it. Literally no one else saw it coming at all.
No, we get it that you're a fan of MicroStrategy, but this isn't a conversation about that. So you're saying that American Airlines is going to replicate that after they buy a bunch of Bitcoin? They're going to go launch a preferred stock offering so people can invest in Bitcoin?
Wouldn't bet on them, but I'd bet on maybe Ryan Cohen figuring out something interesting. He seems pretty smart. I don't know. Maybe
he's going to switch to become a finance company?
I have no idea. That's the point. I don't know, but he might figure something out. Maybe. Seems pretty smart. If he has like 100,000 Bitcoins, I don't know. Might be good.
This is insane.
I see what it is when it comes to, there may be like institutional like programs where you can like lend Bitcoin, you can earn yield on it, you can generate cash flow that way.
Maybe that
so like that makes sense. I don't know that should have been brought up, but
looking
like,
at his Wikipedia,
possible. Yeah, having capital.
If Blockbuster was around and the thing was going on with Netflix and they just shut down, they're like,
they bought Bitcoin.
And they just bought Bitcoin, that would have been sick, but they're still a failing company. They're still a failure. And
GameStop just, billions in cash, they were just going to be out of business tomorrow.
Obviously, if your underlying assets that you liquidate for are worth more, but ultimately at the end of the day, if you don't like, there's plenty of failed businesses and they're not failed because of the lack of capital. That's not like the inherent issue running into a lot of those businesses. Even in the case of Apple, you could argue that their product cycle has become a disaster. They have too many offerings. They also they launched the Apple Vision. It failed, but they're not going to suddenly pivot from a technology company to a finance company. That aspect is not going to happen. And it would be delusional for any of those companies to actually do that because that's not their DNA.
They don't have to. They don't
know.
No,
I know. I completely understand. And obviously having more assets is better, but even Apple can't even figure out how to spend all of their cash right now. They have too much cash. They don't have yet.
It's really bad.
You can say it's getting debased.
It's really bad though that they can't reinvest that into Apple. Elon Musk would figure out a way to reinvest that cash. 1,000%. Come on. Like Tim Cook is not an innovative CEO. He's a sick, nasty shareholder value CEO. Cool. He's not an innovative CEO. It's just not. Like Elon Musk would be like popping off.
If you look at the balance sheet of NVIDIA though, their assets are also increasing. They can't spend all of their assets. They don't have the ability to do it. They're generating literally too much money. Google, too much money. Microsoft, too much money. None of these companies can deploy all the capital that they have. So all I'm saying is why is that? That's why they're such a beautiful business is because they've generated the cash machine, P.O. That's
for now, and this era will go down. The past 25 years will go down as the big tech era where like 7 companies, the Magnificent 7, not really Tesla, but the other 6, figured it out and made things that weren't like terribly innovative, but very addictive, made so much money, and had the cash machine, right? Bitcoin really is the equalizer that will narrow the gap and have the Magnificent 7 not have as big of a lead. If the Magnificent 7 adopt Bitcoin, different story, they'll keep the lead. That's the big question is, will Mag 7 adopt Bitcoin? If not, the lead will be narrowed.
You're saying that a company that doesn't have, let's take GameStop as example, is going to be able to take on Microsoft
No,
because they implemented a Bitcoin strategy.
MicroStrategy will. Not everything. It's not like black or white. It's not like you have to be the number one company. Like you can be the number 122nd company.
I want to apologize for this
I think easy. I think like what I think we're gonna see it, Nick. I think we're gonna see it, and I think we're gonna see something like Amazon, like started as a book company, like they've pivoted a bit, and they became something completely different, and now we're all offering cloud hosting, and it's like something you'd never seen before.
What's the books to AWS to like delivering groceries to my door and owning Whole Foods? Like things happen over 20 years. Like we'll see what's gonna happen, man.
They had a product that kept selling basically and expanding. They started with books. They built an e-commerce platform, and then they open sourced the technology behind that or productized it so people could buy it. They've been a tech company since the beginning.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
They're able to build a successful product. It wasn't about like implementing Bitcoin or like implementing any innovative asset class was the thing that that differentiated them. They had something to sell. They have a product or a service that's valuable.
Yes, amazing products right now. Stripe, Strike, and MicroStrategy common stock are unbelievable products.
I'm not debating MicroStrategy.
Yeah, GameStop. We'll see what they do. It'll be interesting.
So we lost connection on the space here. Just jumping in. Sorry to cut this off, but we're gonna wrap here. As long as that's good with you guys.
I'm sure the space really gave a shit about it.
So thank you all for listening to the space. We'll catch you again tomorrow. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Catch us on all major podcasting platforms. You catch us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple. Watch us back. Thank you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Okay, so we're still live on YouTube here. I don't know if we wanted to tie a bow on anything, or we're good to go.
No, Pio left after he lost.
No, I just ended the stream.